Hello and welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. If you do enjoy, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, of course, if you are new. And before you ask, my bedding is on the dryer, so that's why I've got new bedding at the moment, and that's why it's just the pillows on their own and the sheet on their own and whatever. Right, so big news in Leagues 1 and 2 in the Football League. They have decided and voted for implementing a salary cap that could be very, very interesting to see how some clubs cope, the likes of Salford, Fleetwood, and those sort of clubs that have a lot of money behind them, having a salary cap, because I know that Salford in particular spend quite a lot of money. So this is how it works. Despite the PFA saying a salary cap would be unlawful and unenforceable, they have voted for this. I'm not sure on the voting who voted in which camp, but let's get into this. So it's understood League 2 clubs voted 22-2 in favour of a 1.5 million salary cap. The ballot in League 1 was for 2.5 million, so that's a 1 million higher in League 1, with 16 clubs voting in favour and 7 against and 1 withholding their vote. Wages, bonuses, image rights and agents fees are covered by the cap. So this is very, very interesting. The cap is widely regarded by clubs as a step in the right direction, but admit it's not a perfect solution. The PFA, which has written to the EFL to outline its concerns, has reservations about how it would be implemented. Basically, the passing of the cap is thought to include given a green light to a 20-man squad cap over the age of 21. If you're 21 and under, or under 21, then you will be fine. Next season, they're having a 22-man squad of players 21 and above, just as a transition for ready for this rule. There is going to be a salary cap proposal by the Championship. This is going to be 18 to 20 million pounds, but this is yet to be voted on, and nothing is expected to be introduced for next season. So this could come a few years later. This is going to be interesting to see how this is implemented and how clubs get around it. Will there be a situation where a club is getting around it somehow? Probably. I would imagine, as I said, League 2, this isn't going to be a problem. 1.5 million is a hell of a lot of money to spend, but there are some clubs, I'm not trying to pick on Salford, but Salford and Forest Green are probably the ones that have voted against this, because that's just, they have a lot of money. Dale Vince and Peter Lim, alongside the Manchester United legends, they have a lot of money that can be used to pump in very, very good players and get them up the league. So we still have FFP as a thing, but now there's a salary cap as well. So I would say those two are the clubs that voted against it, but everyone else has voted for it. I'm surprised that Harrogate, I'm not sure if they would have been part of the vote or it would have been Stevenage, but I'm surprised that Harrogate voted for it. But obviously that 1.5 million is quite a lot of money for them to spend, even though they have quite a healthy budget. So yeah, this makes sense to me. This is something that we've been on about, not just in the Football League, but in the Premier League and across Europe, bringing in a salary cap, because it would allow for not the inflation of wages that we have seen in the Premier League. Because if this cap wouldn't have come in, eventually the things would just got higher and higher and higher, and it would all just spiral out of control. So yeah, it makes sense to me. Clubs like Salford, Forest Green will have a problem with this because they won't be able to put in as much as they would like. So it'll be interesting to see how Salford goes about it next season. In League 1, I'm not surprised that it was more close, because you have some big clubs in League 1. You have the likes of Portsmouth, who never went up, losing in the playoffs to Oxford United. You have Sunderland as well, who are an absolute massive club at that level. Ipswich as well, and coming down, no one too big, but you have Charlton, Wigan and Hull, which are all fairly sized clubs at that level. So you can understand why it was a little bit tighter. Fleetwood would have probably voted against it because their owner is very, very, very well off as well and likes to pump money into his club. What he has done for Fleetwood is very, very, very good. He's made Fleetwood from Tier 9 to a League 1 club. He's really rejuvenated the stadium. The stadium is very, very good, the Highbury Stadium, and he's done very, very well. He's got him into the playoffs. Joe Barton, I think, got him to playoffs. I think it was Uwe Rosler who got him into the playoffs before. I could be wrong. Sorry, Fleetwood Town fans, if I am wrong on that. But so they have done very, very well, and they're looking to get into the Championship in the next couple of seasons. And that is something that they might be halted by the salary cap. I'm not sure if they spend over $2.5 million. I'm not sure, but it's something that they will have to deal with. But it makes sense for teams like Shrewsbury, Accrington Stanley, Lincoln, Rochdale, AFC Wimbledon. It makes sense for Burton Albion. It makes sense for Gillingham to have a salary cap, so there's not a massive gulf between the salary and the wage bill of, let's say, Portsmouth and Sunderland to the likes of Wimbledon and Accrington, because that would be so big. But now it's going to be closed down a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see how clubs deal with this situation. Will they sell players and try to have smaller squads and use it that way? That'll be interesting. They might do that. They might have smaller squads, so they're still spending around the same money, but they're not having so many players on the books. That will be an interesting way around it. I think this is really good news for Leagues 1 and 2, and it is going to be very interesting to see how it's implemented, and if there's any sort of rules broken. I can see some clubs getting in trouble for this, like we have seen in the Championship with the FFP. How many times has there been a problem with finances? Sheffield Wednesday most recently. I think Birmingham had a point deduction as well not so long ago as well, so that will be interesting as well. It could cause problems for, let's say, next season a big club really struggle. Let's say Fulham. No, Fulham have got promoted. Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest is a great example. Nottingham Forest probably have quite a high wage bill. If they really struggled and got relegated, they would have to cut the cloth amazingly to survive in League 1. So it would be interesting to see how they would do that. Surely there's got to be some sort of period where they have to get under $2.5 million. It can't just be straight away. I'm not sure how that would work either, but that is something to be interested in. So that is, my opinion, good news for Leagues 1 and 2. It really does make sense for everyone to be on a more of a level playing field, because, like I say, Sunderland have such big budgets, but at the same time, on the counter argument of that, it makes sense for those clubs who have more revenue, who have more money, and who have more backing to be able to spend their money. So that's the other point of the coin. Is the other side of the coin is that they have plenty of money, so why can't they spend it? But for me, as a Hereford fan, if I was in Leagues 1 and 2, I would want, a bit more of a level playing field, and it makes perfect sense. If Hereford were in League 2, there'd be no way they'd be spending $1.5 million, I don't think. So that is something to look forward to and to see how it's implemented. I do feel that it's a good move overall, and it really does make sense for those littler clubs. And also it allows for, if clubs like Shrewsbury, for example, where I was born, were taken over by somebody very rich, and they spent wild amount of money on wages and transfers and agents' fees, and then they left, they'd have that on them. But if they have a $2.5 million cap, it can only go up to $2.5 million. So that is something to consider. So that is also a good thing. So like I say, I think this is a good thing overall. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts if you're a Fleetwood fan, if you're a Salford fan, who I've beraged a little bit, or if you're a Shrewsbury fan, or a Lincoln fan, or a Gillingham fan, or a Sunderland fan. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this. And if you're a Championship fan watching this, let me know how you feel about the implementation of this as well. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.